All right. So YouTube tells me I'm live. This is just me streaming without having told anyone. It's not like I had a particular audience anyway. These streams are pretty long and they're drawn out. It's me fiddling around. I have like an inkling of an idea and I want to pursue it to see where I can take it. I'm learning as I go. Um, I'm doing a lot of familiar stuff, of course, but I'm also sort of getting into stuff that I don't know, that I'm not as familiar with. And that's sort of the idea of the streams, is for me to just play around. Eventually, I think, yeah, of course, it'd be great to have an audience, but I'm more focused on producing the content. And then, over time, I'll kind of want to look back and just have a bunch of videos, either live streamed. And then if I stream it, where I do give myself leeway to figure stuff out uh, and solve problems, I can then create separate videos, um, given what I've learned in the streams, and now I'm good to go, right? Like I have these streaming videos where I'm fiddling around, figuring stuff out, and then I have these other set of videos where I'm making a tutorial on how to do the thing once I figured it out. So you get to see both aspects, if that's helpful. Okay, so the last place I left off is super funny. Okay, so this was the case where I wanted an animation, and this is a fade animation happening here, but we're getting all this trouble happening here. There was also this where if I increase the size of the browser, there's a scroll, which I don't want. So there's a bunch of things to fix here. Maybe I'll go with the scrolling aspect first and see if I can fix that up. I guess image view will do. There's a bunch of different things happening, but I guess here I want to say something like max width full and max height full, because I don't want the image to be more than the size of the div that it's in, but I'm not 100% sure if that will work. And it doesn't work, so let's take a look. And worst case, I'll just, Google what I need. So the parent div to the image isn't doing much here. So what I'll do is I'll just get rid of it. And that doesn't help us either, because so ultimately this is the image. It's, max width, yeah, max width max height is 100, which, okay, it turns out max width for an image is already 100%. And then this div here doesn't have like a max width and what have you. So let's maybe get at that. I could probably get rid of this here as well. And then in my album view, let's take a look. This is the div, so maybe I can give this a max width full and max height full as well. And that seems to do what I want. Yeah, perfect. And let's make that background darker, because I don't want a light background for what I want to display. So maybe 800. Yeah, that's not bad. Can I go normal gray 800? 9 slate. Nah, that's fine. They're all the same at this stage, it seems. And we'll just keep this dark over here. And now if I change photos, that looks fine. I mean, obviously it doesn't look fine, but this is much nicer with the bars up top and on the bottom. And we're still getting this problem here. It's slightly different, where initially both those images were coming up as I was navigating, and now we kind of see half the images, probably because I've made those changes to the height and the width. Let me just commit this first. And now let me fix this thing where we're seeing these two images at the same time. So I want to take a look at what's happening. So this is the top bit. This is my div where the image lives. And so let me see what happens when I navigate to the next one. Right, so I'm getting two images. And like I'm a flex hound, so I like to think in flex when I'm doing CSS. It just helps me align things, and for the most part, it's fine. Now in this particular case, because this container div for the images is flex, and when we introduce um, uh, transitions, both like there's two of these components while that transition is happening. And because this is flex and justify center, item center, both of those are the CSS properties are defined by this. So maybe I can just get rid of this, and I can center old school way, I suppose, by, because in this case, we'll see. I mean, most of these images are like this. So let me just change images here. And now, right, we're not getting those two images because they're essentially in the same area, in the same spot. Even when there's two of them, they're occupying the same space, I guess. And Flux isn't controlling them. So if I want to center this, I can probably just go in the image view, and is there an M auto? MX auto, I should be able to do M auto, I guess. I'm not sure if that worked both ways. But I don't think I have an image that wouldn't. Okay, so it doesn't work in centering on top, and now I'm getting this effect where the images are one on top of another, which is probably why I didn't get it here. Right, when I do this, I guess we're not seeing, like, the scroll bar extends. You can see that there's two images at the same time. And I wonder why that is. I wonder if I'm able to slow down the transition and really get a good look to see what's happening, because so fade leave active, fade leave 2, and then fade enter active, fade. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do something particular here. Sorry, I was just changing the images so I can see the extra classes that are being applied to this. And that's fine. Maybe I don't need to worry about it too much. That double thing does suck quite a bit. I'm going to try just a few things. And I'm not sure whether they will help. So we definitely don't want this kind of action. Maybe I can enforce the positioning of the images, and for now I will enforce it just so I'm set for now. So I'll make this relative, and it'll suck. Like, this is not what I want, but I also want to be able to move forward. Okay, this is relative. The thing should be in here, and now the images have disappeared. Great. Yeah, relative. Absolute, I don't see why. Is that because it does want some kind of width in order to be able to display itself? Like none of these ideas are working right now. So it was the height of the whole thing was bugging it. And now I get this where, you know, the image is where it is, but now obviously I don't control the height and the width of it. I'm going to keep it this way for now, and I'll come back to solve the problem later. At least right now it does look like it's properly transitioning, and that's helpful. Here I have an image that's taller than it is wider, and you know, I don't want this scroll. Okay. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about it for now. What I do want to do, maybe I will worry about it, because the problem here is I'm going to add a different kind of animation, and then that animation is probably going to break because I have this absolute thing going on. So let me just read up on how people just, you know, even implement animations in Vue 3 animations. So transition and techniques. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So these are all kind of state-driven animations, right? So here we add a disabled value, and then shake happens. The shake class comes in when disabled is true, and then the shake class drives an animation to happen. And that's what we get here. More, I guess, state-driven animations. Okay, that's really nice. Transition background color. Man, browsers are amazing. Boy, look at this magic. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Animating watchers. So I guess if I type in 11, it'll... Oh, wow, come on. Okay, that's GSAP, right? It's tweeting the number. And that's animation techniques. Okay, so let's see what transition group does. I'm not familiar with transition group. That are rendered in a list. Interesting. So specifically it's for list items, is that right? Like, does it mean specifically HTML lists, or is it thinking that's amazing too. Look at this. Absolutely remarkable. But these are all lists, I believe. And when it says lists, I'm not 100% sure whether it means like a list or not. Does this just work by magic? Transition also supports mode in out, although it's less frequently used. Okay, so this okay, my thing with absolute was relevant because they're doing something similar in the previous example, which is where which is here. Okay. We had to make them position absolute to avoid the layout issue when both elements are present in the DOM. I want the leaving element to be animated out first. And I have a name. Ah, okay. Okay. So I can add a mode out in. And maybe I can just undo this and delete that. And I believe, oops, yeah, and go back. So the out in mode is, I guess it keeps like one element at a time. So if I change this now, that doesn't seem to work. What do I need to do? Mode is equal to out in. Okay, I did need to refresh the page for some reason. And that seems to work. Let's take a look at the elements. And there's my image. What? Okay. It just opened up in a new. It opens up the image because I happened to click on it. You know, I wonder if, yeah, that's what I was wondering. Whether this display here, whether the browser's like, you put in a URL for an image and the browser is actually spitting out HTML. And the browser does that centering magic thing, I believe. Right? And if I change this height, oh, wow. It's doing some JavaScript magic and it's changing the height and width of the image itself, maintaining the ratio. So it's not even using CSS. Probably because the browser doesn't know how to center using CSS. Okay. That's super interesting. All right, let's get rid of that happy accident. Come back to our app. And what did I want? Where was I? Right, I want to see if there's multiple images. And there are, what is that? No, there isn't. There's just one image because of that out in thing that we're doing. That looks fantastic now, just in terms of the animation itself. Which means I can go back to my flex bullshit, right? Right? Like so we can have it. Okay. What am I doing wrong now? Maybe I should just press undo until I get back to where we were. But let's see if I increase this. Don't love that scroll. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about that scroll, but maybe that can happen later. Probably because of some H-screen business. I definitely don't want the scroll bars popping up every time an image is changing. And maybe I want to prevent defaults. Because I notice on some of them it's, oh, I can't, I guess there isn't anything I can do about that. Okay, that's fine. And if I do this, it's not centered. And I do want it to be centered, and it was centered before I did like all this M auto and everything else. So I think that's okay. And then over here, maybe I can just undo my way back to close to where it was, right? Okay, there we go. I think it was the flex one over here saying, hey, don't resize me. And now I have this, which I don't really want, and we'll find a way of getting rid of that later. But at least for now, the centering thing is finally happening. And I fixed the animation thing somewhat, minus the... Okay, now apparently haven't. That's a lie. Because I am... Wow. Because I guess I'm centering? Ah, because my mode disappeared when I did this. Okay. Mode is equal to in out. And now... Definitely not. Definitely not what I want. So they are being flexed. Oh, is it out in and not in out? Yeah, out in. Okay, good. That's funny. Okay. I got a little frustrated and then now I'm okay. All right, so now my only problem is this flashing of the scroll because of the height of the image. Good, good. That's fine. I will take a look at that in a second. Yeah, I don't want. This is max full width. And is this flex 1 that's really saving me here? No, no. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so maybe I can... I'm okay with this, so let me just get this committed in terms of this mode out in stuff that's happening. And here I just, all I did was really just get rid of the routes. Fix animation with mode in. Did I? Okay, seems like I brought this back. I want to actually get rid of this. Okay, I was seeing the inverse because my undos probably brought this back. That's fine. Okay. So now maybe I can try that slide animation because that's what I was thrown off by the last time was I had a slide, I'd copy pasted a slide animation. So let me see if I can find Tailwind slide animation view 3. Sure, why not? I don't want to slide stories quite in this way. But maybe I can learn something about just Tailwind slide animation first, and then we'll see the view 3 stuff. Animate none, bounce spin. Is there anything about sliding? I think I did come in here the last time. This is not really using Tailwind. Oh, okay, so I probably just copied this. And honestly, I don't need to use Tailwind for this. Yeah, not quite what I want. Also, I noticed I swear this problem happened last time as well. Okay, that's just because of a refresh. This is not what I want. And it's probably because I'm not doing the to and from. And it's a menu slide more than it is like a proper slide. So I guess there's two ways I can go about it. One, I can Google more for a slide animation because I don't know how to do it, or I can try and figure it out based on like the keyframes I need going, you know, from and in and all of that. Hmm. I'm gonna Google. I'm gonna hope that I stumble on something that um, that works. This is exactly what I want. Um, okay, and it doesn't look like it's a component. It seems like it's pure Tailwind. Um, okay, that's great. What is this? What is Flowbyte? View Rails getting started. I'm looking at Carousel, but it seems like um, they've given us the pure, which will trigger the slide event from the carousel. So okay, so they are providing certain hooks. Um, duration, ease in out. I'm trying to see if there's any other sort of transition based things I need to look at. So there's a duration. Okay, so they're probably based on this, adding or removing whatever is necessary. But it is a carousel thing that I need, so maybe slide is a bad. So I can say view 3 carousel animation. This is a whole component. I don't want a component. I just want someone to be like, hey, here's how you do it. Okay, copy pasta it is. And someday I'll spend some time maybe in my brain trying to figure out what it should look like. And so here, that's not happening. Slide in out. And maybe it's because I'm doing it out, right? Here I'm in all these. What a mess. And now because I'm using flex, because I want the slide to happen all at the same time. So it means I can't use flex. This is such a disaster. I think for people that are watching, right? Like it's like what? Sorry, I can't stop transitioning. It's like hypnotic. Slide enter, slide leave 2. I'm going to spend just a bit more time Googling. Right, so they have a transition group. And they have these items. And wow, that's quite the if thing there. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to kind of decipher this and try and figure out what's happening. Although it seems like there's a vtouch directive, they're probably using some kind of a plugin for detecting swipes, which I might want later on when I focus on more of a mobile type thing. Okay, all right, timeout. Carousel, it's modern, lightweight. I mean, I guess I could use one of these plugins, but I still don't want to. I do know that I want a carousel type animation. It's exactly what I want. How to make, I think this is exactly what custom carousel via view, how to use transition, transition group, not, I feel like I'm so close. And then this will end up taking like 2 hours, just this animation. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me try this too. View 3 router animation to see what examples people have for transitions during, because this is slightly different, right? It's not quite a transition group, although maybe I should be using transition group. I want to see what examples people have, and maybe someone will have a sliding type example, and then I'm good to go. Exactly like this. And let's see if it's straight up enough sensible for me to understand. Okay, so we did something similar to this, right? Write a view, component slot, transition is, and we're just passing in our information that we want here. Okay, so saying instead of wrapping our dynamic component with a transition, they want to move transition. So here I think they're just, typically they're saying this is what it would look like, and here's how you get it in using dynamic, but they don't want to do it. They want to move the transition component into the component itself, the child component, the router view component, whatever that will be, image view in our case. And they're using dynamic transitions. We don't need to do that. Fade. Do they have a slide? Okay, this is what we want. Although they have done this here, so let's see. Right, so and they are changing the position to absolute in order for this to work, which makes sense, right? There's multiple elements in there, and we want it to look something like this. And it's just setting, and then this gets animated. And transition all, it's like, whee, okay. I don't expect this to work right off the bat because there's some wrapper class and all this stuff that they've done based on what I saw up here, where I think they're saying first, instead of wrapping our dynamic component in transition, we can move transition to each individual component, something like this. And so on. For each route, we want to have a transition. This way we can customize each route by changing the name of the transition. So that's fine. App.view. Okay, so this is if we wanted to customize. But let's see what this does here. Okay, very close, right? Like it's doing something super close to what I want. But because in this example's case, where is it? In this example's case, because they're moving the whole page, that works for them. It doesn't work for me because I'm only moving this thing over here. Oh, but when that's pretty good. So now and maybe that was happening because, okay, and the same animation happens regardless of which direction I'm going in, so I can probably have a different animation here based on the direction I'm going in. And then I guess if I fix my div here, not to have any overflows, that might give me a height issue. That might fix my height issue. So I guess I can do hidden. I definitely don't want the scrolling. I'm so close, right? Definitely don't want the scrolls, and the scrolls happening on the entire page. The scrolls happening on the entire page because this image and my mode's no longer in out, but out in. But let's see what I'm curious. What would happen if I did do this now with all the sliding business and everything? That's pretty cool. Okay, and this is great, right? Like this is how I learned about mode in out. Like this is something I didn't have in my brain indexive view functionality, and now it's there, even though I'm not going to use it here. Also hypnotic. Okay. Okay, let's think. I don't think it has to do with the wrapper stuff that this page did, but maybe. And maybe somewhere at the end they have like just a, full example. Because they do this min height thing and everything. That's cool. Kind of the type of animations you see on your phone. Okay, that's great as well. And they don't really have an end place where they're going through this. That's fine. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on, because I feel like I have a better idea now than I did before. And I don't think anything I have here really gets me to where I want to go. Okay. Just trying to see here, in this case, what the divs look like. Right, so there's two divs, and I want them to move along. And maybe I definitely don't want the scroll. And maybe out here is where I need to say overflow hidden. And this is, yeah, like this is, I'm just guessing. And I guess the other places I would say overflow hidden is in my index.html, right? And I don't know if this is the right thing, but let's see if this helps. And maybe my last is this div. So now this fixes the whole page, although this is much better. Kind of what I want. There is a little wait period between sliding images. Okay, cool. This is the first image. This is cool. Okay, so you can't see it here, but it's a little trippy because I'm pressing the right and left arrow keys, but it's always going in the same direction. So I'm going to leave this overflow hidden here, although this will probably come back to bite me later. But again, this, you know, it's good learning. Let's see if that still works. Yep. And now maybe I can try a different animation based on the key that is pressed. So I might be able to do something like slide. For reasons of being super lazy right now, I can just say slide 1, slide 2, and just deal with that for now. Change it to 2, and then all these become slide 1s, and my slide 2s will be kind of the opposite of whatever this is. So okay. So slide 2's position is absolute, yep. And instead of being right, it's going to be negative 100%. And this will be 0. And this will be 0. And this will be negative 100%. This is probably too verbose for this, but like I'm just trying to figure stuff out right now. Okay. That's really quick. But I also haven't, oh, okay. I didn't change anything here. Oh, that's happening really quickly because there's no slide transition anymore. That's interesting. Okay, cool. This is just the normal The photo is just being replaced in front of our eyes. There's no sliding because I never changed this. Okay, so now I can have a ref for the animation that I want. I'll just leave it empty to begin. And based on the button I'm pressing, so if I press right, I want slide 1. And this should be slide 2. And then I suspect that I could do something like name is animation. And if my mental models are correct. Almost. Almost. I just need to flip these. And then there's some pop-in that's happening here, which I don't like. So I got it wrong. This is slide 2, and this is slide 1. And now I will probably need to refresh because the same image coming in. Oh, wow, that's a trip. So my right, error right slide 1, which I had before, is working fine. But my left one isn't. And that's the one I changed, right? So that makes sense why that would be the one that's not working. Because I just flipped stuff around and hope that it would work. I'm really not using my brain here. So let's legitimately try and make it work. So when I go right, when I press right, everything shifts to the left, right? When I press right, things shift to the left. So this image goes this direction to the left, and the other image comes in to the left as well. And that's defined correctly here as, you know, enter to right 0, enter from right negative 100. And my transition, my animation div is my image, which means if I put a right of negative 100%, I just want to see what that looks like. Position is absolute. Up to 0. So this is 0 and slide enter to, slide enter from. So it's enter from is, so this is for the other image, right? So this is the other image that's coming in. It's starting from negative 100%, and then it's, you know, it's coming in this way. And, you know, to right 0. Okay, got it. The image that's leaving is left negative 100 and left 0. So left negative 100 is the image that's leaving when I press the right key. So it starts from left 0, which is this position, and it goes to negative 100. So it's going this way. So if I do 0% and then I do down, it's going this way. Yeah. It's going to the left. is going all the way to the left. Yes. Okay, great. Got it. Thank you. So now when I press, that's my slide 1 on right. So now I press the left arrow key, slide 2. I want this to happen, right? I want the reverse, which is it's, the entering image should start at left 0. And end here. And I guess this would be right. I think. So now when I press the right arrow key, I get this. Not quite. This is a little pause, and I don't know why that's happening. And when I press left, I think I need to change these. Okay, press right, that works, and press left, that works. That's perfect. Almost. This is that first image. I should have just done fade. The fading was nice. It worked. It didn't take me, 45 minutes to figure out. Okay, so I think that little hesitation that's happening is because the images aren't loaded. So when the images are loaded, this is what the animation looks like. And if I refresh this, for example, and the images aren't already loaded, there's a little hesitation, right? That hesitation is something I don't want. So let's try and get rid of that. So for now, I'm going to commit what I have here. It's not great. Yes, it's not great, but this is literally my first time doing something like this. Where did I copy this from? Was it here? Yeah, it was here. Yeah. And someday I'll be smart enough to. I think I will. I think I get a sense of what's happening, right? I can't do it from the top of my head, and I have to get into the HTML change right, percent by percent to get a sense of exactly how I want it to work. And now I get a sense of like, okay, so when the animation is active on enter or leave, this is what happens. And when the animation, like, this is what defines the position it wants to be in at the start and at the end. So that's helpful. Yeah, my entering position and my leaving position, and then the transition I want in order to accomplish that, like the timing and everything. Yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, I might just go with a fade because, like in this situation, like I'll never get that perfect um positioning. So I'll probably just end up going with fade. But now I know what's happening, right? Now I know what works. But for now, let's come in. And what's nice about this is, yeah, it's hooked into the URL, so I can copy paste this, and then like I'm good to slide again, right? It's not, um, and you don't necessarily, like I have done here, you don't necessarily need to load up all the objects, all the images, all the metadata for the images up front. You can load it dynamically, like only if only this, you can only load maybe the previous one and the next one. That's all you need to load in this, so your API changes. Okay, so let's get rid of that hesitation now. And I haven't really visited images and preloading images. So preload image HTML. Yeah. So I might be able to preload as image because in my album view, I have a computer property for next image and previous image and the current image, all of which I should be able to preload. I don't know why this says responsive images everywhere. Like it makes me like, why not just an image? Wants me to use this picture set, these links for preloading. I mean, I might end up doing this. I don't understand. Maybe it's, oh, load it when it's responsive. Ways to preload images from 2019. Preload image CSS and JavaScript. Link types preload. Okay, so let's. Yeah, I mean, just with the link thing is, I guess you need it in you need it in the head area, and I don't think the links can be defined anywhere else. And then I have to do a whole bunch of things about, getting this like to view use head or whatever. So I'll revisit this in a second, and I want to see if there's any other ways of preloading images. All right, this is old school, just display none and load all the images at once. I mean, I guess I could do that. Right. I could have another computed property. Preload images. And this really is just an array. And I'll just filter the empties. And this will be, previous image, image, and next image. Okay. And I can come up here and just have a little, go down here. Hidden. Oops. And really, I guess I could just have image view here and pass it the image. And this will be v4. And I will need a key. It's fine, image.id. Current image.id. And I can say current image of preload images. And something like this might be enough to get rid of that hesitation that's happening. Yeah, that won't work because I haven't imported my image view. And now I expect to see image tags here. I don't expect to see those undefines in the URL. So let's quickly get a sense of what this is here. Computer ref NE. I guess this doesn't realize that it does realize that I'm returning an array, right? Computer ref. Ah, okay, so these need to be values. And if I, yeah, so now it's a computer ref of any array, which is fine because I really haven't typed things in the front end. And now I'm seeing the images, which means if I come in here now, I refresh, and now I change direction. Was there a hesitation? There was a hesitation. It's a bit cleaner, but not by a whole lot. Not by a whole lot. It is a bit cleaner. I'm not thrilled by it, but I'm also not utterly disgusted by it. And, you know, having done all of that, I definitely want to fade. Like, I thought this is what I wanted. I thought I wanted a carousel, but I'm not enjoying this. This is not the presentation I want. So let's fade it is. View transition fade. Let me see if I can figure it out based on what I learned. It'll take me a while, but we'll do it. So I am going to get rid of these, and this can be fade. The transition was different, like it was just transition opacity. But I'll leave it as is, and if I don't see the thing I want working properly, I'll change it. Actually, I do want these. Fade enter to, fade enter from, fade leave to, fade leave from. And my animation can just be, I'll change that later, but this can just be fade. Okay, so it just means I'm just changing the opacity. So the entering image This is the new image, and I want it to fade in from 0. So I want the so I want a opacity of 1 at the end for the entering image. And I want an opacity of 0. It's coming in from opacity of 0 and going to an opacity of 1. And I want this. So the leaving image is leaving to 0, and it's leaving from 1. And now I want the in-out business or out-in business. So let's fix that. I wonder if there's more modes other than out-in, which I'll probably look at sometime later. That's much nicer than a disgusting slide. And in this case, look how much nicer that is too, where the size of the image is different. And now I don't need to have that take a second, so I can maybe do 0.5. That looks pretty good. I'm actually really happy with this. But I'm also glad I learned the sliding thing, and I have a better understanding of how the animation classes work. Looks great. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. And I was able to derive it myself for the most part. Can I say opacity here and just have it work? Yeah, so the only thing it's doing is opacity. There's no position changing, which is actually great because it works with my flex setup. So I don't have to figure out a different way of centering everything. And the out-in saves me from the duplicates or the doubling. Cool. And I don't need this anymore. Get rid of that as well. Okay, I got the animation working now. Let me see if I can get into what I had envisioned before. For there to be a, like if I can just render out the entire line up here. And I'm kind of dreading that a little bit because there's animation work there. And I might not be able to finish. I don't want to go too long, but let's see if I can get that to work. Or we could just, this whole stream could just be me showing these images. Look, there's a fence, there's it's a sign, there's boats. This is great. This is precisely what I want. And I'm wondering if I want that line thing up here to just be a distraction of animation while you're viewing these images. But let's just do it for the learning. What I really like about this is like this was taken in London, right? But this could be anywhere in the world. Okay, I'm actually really curious to see how the other cities look. Excuse me. What if happens if I press right 3 times? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see the URL quickly changing as I'm pressing, which I think is fine. Like I don't dread it because um, it's not a big deal right now the way things are structured. But I guess it would be nice to know where you are, like how many photos are in the album, and how far you've progressed, like in the album itself. Let's take a look at New York. Hello. I do see the images changing. Oh, there it is. Why did it not load? Okay. Oh, this is great. I'm really looking forward to putting these out there somewhere. Yes, even if nobody will look at it. Stupid. And again, like, I mean, maybe this couldn't be anywhere in the world, but some of the close-ups, I really like how you can't tell where you are in the world. Mm. Well, this you could tell, right? Okay, I'm done admiring my own photography. Sorry. Oh yeah, I gotta deploy this somewhere. Okay, so where was I? I um I want to have some indication of where you are. And maybe I can begin by just having a dot or a circle for each photo up here. And then we'll see where that goes. I'm going to keep this and I'll actually hide it for now. Let's see what this looks like. This is also great, right? Like that's it. Nothing. You don't know. Just deal with it. And then in this one here, I want to just have, and for now, literally, it'll just be like a dot. Um, Well, let's see what this does. Okay, good. So there's like a whole bunch of dots. And now I'm back to my flex bullshit. Perfect. And let's space it up a little. That might not get centered. That's fine for now. Okay, the other thing I might just do is have this be the image ID, and later on it can be some icon. And so, not image ID, i.id. And so what I really want is, so as I'm changing these, the IDs up there aren't changing. And what I want is for the center ID at this stage to be the ID that I want to go to. And then, right, I could just make this a router link that will do this, right? So it just becomes a router link, and you click on it and you move to it. Let me actually quickly hook that up. And it's just a simple 2. And I can do this, right? And change the perhaps. Perfect. I'm gonna put it in the div for now. Oh, that's weird. Formatting. Okay, fine. I won't argue with it. Okay, that, yeah, I mean, I don't expect, I thought it would just at least become links, but obviously it's breaking because it doesn't find. I feel like I can get away by not having anything else but just this, and everything else sort of gets implied by default. So now when I hover over the link, it just it takes over New York, it takes over everything, and I can just click on it. And that's awesome too. Like the click creates the animation as well, which is just beautiful. That's, again, exactly what I wanted. So good. It's to be darker, and I want text slate 50 maybe. Okay, fine. Doesn't matter. This will be way different later anyway. So now what I want is the photo, like if I click on this, I want this to come into the center. So how do I do that? I might not get to this tonight. Let's see. So I click on this. And I can do maybe a bunch of things with positioning by calculating the position. I can try thinking about how I'd frame the problem, which is, this is an element. It's an HTML element. I want to center, like I want to animate this. I just want to, have it be in the center. So I wonder if there's like a um, horizontally center any element. So the problem with this is I'll get like scroll to. It's kind of like a scroll to. Mm-hmm. So the element has a position of something, I guess, within where it is. The element has a position, and I can maybe set the position of the entire div to where that position is, and it can be almost centered. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. Except that this is jQuery. So maybe there's a non-jQuery. 2015. Wow. This isn't even scrollable or anything. Okay. Sorry, I'm just collecting my thoughts. Offset left, offset width, parent node. So maybe I can just take the element and try its offset width and this and that. So let's say this one, for example. Okay, so temp1 dot offset height is 18, offset width is 133, and left and right is the position. So not left and right. So top, like just left. That makes sense. So the height width, what's offset parent? That'll be the body. So maybe it's like it's in relation to the body, because really like the you know the parent isn't that. Okay, and then offset left. Can I do temp1 dot parent element? I can. And that'll give me the div it's in. Okay, great. And I guess I can do dot parent element again, which will give me this. And that's really what I want. So at this stage, I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? Like, I don't want. That's fine. I can just put all this here and get rid of that. And be happy with this. And then find an element, which will be an href. Temp1 dot parent element straight up is the parent it's in. Because I think the parent element is the one that will scroll left. And it's not so much that I want to scroll left right now. I just, like I did before, I just want to get a sense of what this does. It does nothing. Um, so I'm just thinking maybe something else. Not that it doesn't do anything. I think it's probably because there isn't like a scrollable div there. I wonder if I said overflow auto. That's nice. And what about if I went in here and did some of this stuff now? I saw some shift happening. Okay, yeah. So that's what it was, right? Like I think it was probably that the um okay, that scrolled. I mean, I don't really want that. Like I don't want it to be scrollable. I don't want the scroll bar here for certain. Like that's not aesthetically pleasing, although I would understand why. For usability perspective, we would want it there. Um, maybe I can style the scroll bar and that would be good enough. Not gonna lie, I like this. WebKit scroll bar. Um, Scroll bar track and scroll bar thumb. So that's the track and the handle. That's the track and the handle. All right. I mean, that would be nice if I could just have this be aesthetically the way I want. And then, I mean, these up here won't obviously be the IDs. They'll be whatever I need it to be. And then the one you're on gets positioned in the center or close to the center. For now, just so there's a visual representation, I'll say something like maybe font bold and sure, text slate. Let's make it super light. Okay, so now it's fairly visible what it is, where you are. Okay, so let's see if I can style my scroll bars. I mean, let me just do that straight up to see. Oh, that's nice. For sure. Oh, come on. That's great. Can I do something like... Oh, that's fantastic. Because this kind of, if I scroll with it, it'll kind of give you an idea of where you are as well. And it's a natural scroll bar. Probably get rid of that border now. That's just great. Ah. Except, you know, maybe on Windows it might not be the same, but and it definitely won't be the same on like Safari and this and that. And I think I'll live with that. Or maybe it will be. Handle on hover. Oh, so nice. You know, just to see if it is working. Browser is so amazing now. Just remarkable. It just literally make that seem like it's part of the page. Like that there, like it looks like it's part of the... Okay, cool. Well, of course, this won't center with, but it'll tell you where you are in the journey. Okay, so now I do need to figure out the scroll left business. I don't have, because I refreshed, of course. I totally forgot. Offset. Okay. So yeah, so this is making an educated guess based on the offset and the width. Of the element, which is this element, which maybe I can have a reference to. So let me do that. Oh, you know, that's brilliant because they like this ref here is the same as, yeah, I don't want that, right? I don't want this dot I want this to be an actual array. Although it just could be ref image. Yeah, we can try that out. But I do need to know how to view ref composition API. Template refs specifically is what they're called. And I can access them by, okay, by doing this. Which holds their, okay, so it is a ref, yes. Refs inside v4, thank you. Ref items, fantastic. That's amazing. Oh, wow. I didn't know about this. I did not know about the v4 thing either. Okay. Just call it nav refs. And my router link. Allegedly, this can be ref equals nav refs. And yeah. I guess I could put this anywhere, so after it's defined anyway. Mounted, and this is now refs. And now I should be able to see these refs. 700 photos in this New York edition. Let's just go to Toronto. Why did that happen? Oh, okay. And then it redirects, and then I refreshed here, and then it worked. That's fine. We'll figure that out later. This proxy's all the way down. Okay, so here's my element. And I know that the index of the image that I'm on right now is, so I could say something like current ref, current image ref. And that's fine. Let me just get rid of these console logs while I'm here. That's fine. And then instead of images, it's going to be nav refs dot value, and the index will just be the index. And this, I realize, is not being used anywhere. I wonder if Views plugin picks up on this. Okay, current image ref is picking up a router link, and it should, if I click on this, it's 3N. I wonder if this will have that information. 3N. Okay, so now I'm getting the right ref in the computer property. And then I have a watch that transitions the thing, and there's on mount. So let's see when all that stuff gets executed. So I want to leave this here. These are my refs. This I can remove. So now when I refresh, remove this. When I change, right, it's not being mounted. But what if on my watch, see when I change this, when the parameters image ID is changing, I'm changing this image ID, which changes the, yeah, that works. So when the URL's image ID changes, I want a console.log the specific computed property. So maybe I could just put this down here. Current image ref is what I want to output. Okay, clear that up. Perfect. And this thing's dot value should be my my object, my EL. And then I should be able to get the elements, you know, temp1 dot and scroll left. I forget what it was called again. Offset. Okay. I should be able to get the offset. Right. It will work only if it's I need to figure out the ref returns exactly. It is the element, right? Because I'm doing a dot focus on it directly. So should the offset not be available right on the value? Right. So I mean, TypeScript doesn't like it, but that's not why this is undefined. So let me just output the value again. Okay, so it's it seems like it's the view element, not the HTML element. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's why, because I'm expecting it to be the view element. So .el might be what gives me my actual element. And then I can say offset left, allegedly. I'm getting 3. Oh, it's changing 3 times. I just pressed. I have like a different bug here. That's amazing. I'm just getting one event. But I'm getting three image jumps. That's weird. Now that I'm outputting the image, I'm only getting one. Maybe I just need to refresh. Maybe it was because no, it's not. It's not. It's views mounting. So now there's two. See, for every event, it's outputting two changes, and you can see the URL just changing twice. So it goes from K to J and back to K. I refresh. Now I'm here. K to L. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a dev thing. Now it's just outputting one for one. I'm not sure if this is a dev thing. Hot module reloading. So, okay. So now if I save this, now I expect there to be that thing happening twice. And it is. So I'm getting two of these for each event. I don't think I need to correct for this because it's just a hot module reloading issue. So when I refresh, it works fine. So just as long as I'm aware of that, that's fine. All right. Now I have my offset here. I can also, so let me just, right, I have my EL. And then I also have my parent EL, which is EL dot parent element. And then I have it's just the typing was bothering me. So let's, why would you? Oh, it's not. It's not a HTML element. It's I mean, I don't know what kind of element it is, but that's fine. I'm just gonna say HTML element here because that's all I'm using from the thing. And that works fine. Perfect. So I want to change the scroll left of the parent element. For now, I'll just say it's el dot offset left, and we'll try and see what happens. Okay. Now I'll remember to refresh. And I don't want a console.log on mount anymore. Okay. So now it is mapping the left to the start of this. So it is definitely scrolling. So if I click this 5C, I expect to be here and animated. I mean, not animated, but immediately there. Okay. That's helpful. And it doesn't have to be centered right now either. Like I'm actually okay with something like this. I do want that to be animated. And I wonder if Um, right, so scroll top is what is even happening here? It defines the function. Oh, and it changes over time. So it's happening over time. Oh, wouldn't it be amazing to have this? But I wonder if you can do that through a CSS type thing. Um, eh, and again, I haven't been too in depth with my front end. But do I have a animate, or is that person's is that person just wishing? No, there is an animate. Um, I mean, I don't see any animation happening here. It returns an animation object. That's fine. Oh, I need to give it some time as well, right? Maybe. I can use scroll to. Scroll to left. This value, behavior smooth. Scroll to. Boy. Oh my God. It doesn't happen on that first load. Although I want it to also happen on the first load. Which I can probably do on mount. I'm going to copy paste this for now. And then I'll make this a function. Oh, that's so cool. This is actually better than I had thought. And I could probably now even think, oh, what a photo. Okay, so now I could probably even think about centering this somewhat, because the scroll left can be because even for the first one, because you see that little shift happening, right? It's not, this is still not its natural position. And so now I will okay, let's make sure that still works. And it does, and on refresh, it also works. Perfect. I'll want to see if I can add some default value, let's say 300, and just see how it behaves. And it's going that way, so negative 300. And now it's here, so that's 300 over here. And what would happen if this was the first element? It doesn't, because it's it doesn't have that space, so it's just there until we start getting here, and now that 300 is being maintained. It's not so bad. Maybe I can get the width of the parent element and do a divide by 2 type business. So I don't know if that's the right thing to look into. Like I wonder if it's just a natural normal width, and why, I wonder why that would be based on that, but no matter. Divide by 2-ish and then change by the width of this thing and whatever. So that's almost centered. And there's an offset left, but I can unset that maybe, and I'll figure this out by doing el dot offset width divided by 2. Maybe that needs to be plus instead. And that's more or less centered now. And what's nice about this formulation is it'll work for any sized width. So now maybe, let me see Toronto Bloor subway map. I want to see if there's like an official TTC map. Okay, so line 2, these are the colors. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I mean, something like this is what I might have wanted. Is this the color? Open image, a new tab. Those are, but I can do this. And Is there a global color picker on Mac? Sweet. That's too bad. I wish there was a way to, you know, copy that. Okay, 17,158. and 84. I mean, I don't have to be that specific to start, but that's fine. I'm just now in my head thinking of what that representation here would look like. And it's a bit hard to get a sense of it because it won't look like this. Yeah, definitely that color business I didn't have to do. Okay, so this is my element, which is going to change. So this will be my parent element. And I'm going to be in for a host of pain in order to make the change that I want here. So it's going to grab this circle straight up. And for now, do this. I would, oh, these are like super small circles here. So they are there. They are there. I can do something like this. And give this color as well. So for now, BG slate 200. Not what I want. Wait, I don't know if I need this yet. Text slate. No, I do need this. So I'll have to tell it for the fill to be the current color. There you go. And I should be able to click on this as a link. And I want the current one obviously to be different. So here, this class can go here maybe. And that can be text slate 200. So we'll go with 50 when it's this, and and can I even tell the difference? 100% I cannot. And so the selected one, I'll make it more apparent. Font bold does nothing. I just want to make it like so apparent. This is not necessarily what I want, but we're getting closer. What I want is, I want to give this a little bit more breathing room. And then I want, oh, I want to navigate. I find that animation a little bit annoying. I think it does take away from the photos. Maybe not. Sorry, I'm just mesmerized again. Okay, so what I actually want is to do something like what we saw in the TTC image. Not exactly like this, but like maybe dots around a line. That's, you know. But I feel like this might take me a while to do. So let's see. I will pull this into a separate element soon. Okay. I'll probably have different circles for station photos, or just even the first station photo will have a different circle image. Station photos will have a different circle, and then photos along the path will have a completely separate circle. So okay, so what I want here is for this to have a background, for there to be a line, right? But then that would be this here, and then I want something on the inside. And I'm hesitating. I don't want that border anymore, really. It looks much nicer. I'm hesitating because it's going to break all my scrolling. But let's do it. Okay. I definitely did break the animation and the centering and everything. That's okay. And now let's give this maybe a BG green 400. And that's not what, oh, okay, hello. That's not what this might look like anyway, because I don't even like how this looks, really. But the color of the subway line itself will depend on the color of the subway line will depend on, sorry, let me just collect my thoughts. The color of the subway line will depend on the actual line and the you know, the one in London is blue. I think the one in New York is green. The one in Toronto is green. So this will all depend on, and I'll have like album settings with the right colors pop in, being returned from the server eventually. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Okay, so in order for me to bring the scrolling back, so it's not too bad. Parent element. I gotta go 2 levels. And now when I refresh and click here, scroll is there. And why does the green line only last till the visible portion? Maybe the line can remain the same, but the scrolling no. I actually don't understand this. Maybe the width needs to be full or something. I really don't understand. No, that's not it. So it's just the visible div here. This is my parent div. These are the hrefs. And this I generally would have expected this to, go all the way. Is it because it's flex? No. I'm just gonna hack a bit here. No, because this isn't flex, so that shouldn't matter. Maybe this should be flex. That makes no sense. Like that. I would be shocked if this just worked. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's the perfect image to get a sense of what's happening here. Okay, reset. I was just about to ready to end, and now I have this problem to solve, Item set. This is inside this. This is the scrollable one. This is not scrollable. And maybe that's why I'm getting that doesn't make any sense either. What's this? Oh, okay. Like it's just got some space there that's not scrolling. But it didn't happen when I made it auto. That's weird as well. Maybe this is just fictitious, but I do want some spacing between the dots. Okay. So these dots are inside this parent, this. But for some reason, there's all this margin or padding right at the end there. With full. And when I get rid of with full, it works. So what did I do here? I did add this flex here. G, get rid of that. And that works. So what's the flex? I was like, it'd be Okay, so adding that flex instinct was correct. I actually have no idea why. But I'm also not going to argue. So I was thinking something like this. But that green doesn't make sense anymore. This can probably be just darker. And we'll give this a little bit of space. Oh, not this. We'll give this a little bit of space. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't quite look like this, but you know, I did not think I was going to be able to do this at all. Not at all, but I thought it would take me much longer to do the scrolling thing. And this is fantastic. I wonder if it would still work if the overflow was disabled. Now, if I change, yeah, the whole scroll left thing is no good. That's not where I want that. I want that here. So that the start of the line can be like this. Definitely this is a Y, and PX can be, you know, a bit. So that's the start of the line. So there's a visual good representation of the start and ends of the line. And we have our stops. I could probably just add a bit more spacing in between those. I mean, this is fine. You can't really tell. You will be able to tell movement a little bit better when stations are defined separately than the other photos. So, you know, like this is so great. I can explain this here. This is not in a station. This is not in a station. So these two dots will be styled separately from this one, which is the first station photo, which indicates we're getting to a station. And these, which are inside the station, will be styled a second manner. And now I'm back outside. So outside photos are different from inside photos, are different from the first station photo. And I'll have to kind of go in and manually edit my okay, well, it doesn't want me to go there, but server source data Toronto. This first image is a station photo, so I might have to do something like station true or first station, you know, like first station true and then inside station true kind of thing. And that will that'll make things work. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. So I can go ahead and commit. Changed quite a bit. I have my on mounted, which I'm using to detect things. I got my nav refs. That worked out really well. This is, I got my current image ref, the scrolling, animated scrolling bit. It's happening on watch and mount. And now I realize that I could have done, the setting this here can also be done on mount as well, but the setup is an on mount equivalent for this because this value is coming straight from param. So that value will be set. Like there's no HTML that impacts that. And then I change some styling here and repurpose this. And WebKit, cool. Scroll bar editing. All right. Maybe I'll just do one last thing, which is I want to move this over a little bit. If it doesn't work, I'll just stop. But if it works, great. So this is the overflow. And I want to see if I can put all this into a div. Why, you ask? Because I want to be able to say something like album name here. I don't remember if I have a variable for that. Let's see. Yeah, I do. And eventually this information will come in from somewhere else. And the styling, I believe all of this needs to be here. Great. And that makes sense because this, like, you slide this and this will just be some fixed value that will have some information. So I don't love it. I don't love it. But it will have to do. I want to add a little bit more spacing below the line. Actually, yeah, that, because this py4 doesn't belong here. It belongs in here. And in here. That's what I want. Okay, so that spacing, this bar belongs down here. And now you have a sense of, like, this is the gallery, right? This is the album gallery. Instead of it being thumbnails, it's this. And I'm moving through. And it's Toronto, and this I can, I'm getting it from here for now, but eventually I'll get it from, somewhere else. And the colors I'll have to figure out. So this is nice. Like, you can see this moving, and then eventually when the centering doesn't work anymore, like it's not quite centered because of the offset here. But I might be able to get, because I want the title to be here. And that information I'll pull in from the server. Okay, cool. All right. That will wrap this up, and I guess I'll come back tomorrow to style some of this, maybe figure out some of the colors, figure out the different iconage based on the type, and we're good to go.